What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So when it comes down to a lot of EV companies, typically when one thing happens to, for instance, Tesla, typically there's a trickle-down effect. Similarly, when there's a lot of layoffs, it affects all the EVs, even if it doesn't hold out to be very true. But when it comes down to Lucid, they're doing things a little bit more different. So I want to talk on, again, things that set them apart above the rest, above Tesla, above the rest of the other competitors or peers, whatever you want to call them. But before I get into any of that, though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. And also, don't forget to pop over to my Discord. It's free chat, a lot of good people. And with that said, let's get right to it. Live tickers going at the very bottom. Was a very much of a sell-off going on first thing. You can tell based on this intraday chart right here. But right now we are green, so that's a very positive thing. But there's a couple of things about this I just wanted to talk on, because behind the scenes, there's a lot of big things happening. So right now, within the first 2 hours of the trading day, 6.3 million shares being traded, 26.7 is the average, and 1.1 million shares being purchased by institutions and hedge funds just today alone, and that is on the secondary market. And I have been talking about the dark pool recently, so I'm just going to quickly show you this, and I do actually have it as the correct ticker this time, so it is Lucid. But look at this, $7.59 million as a premium, 311,000 and 302,000. So clearly a lot of big money getting in, and you can see $16.87. This is exactly what gave us the nice boost, gave us the nice kickoff. And unfortunately, we are largely down because of the PCE numbers. So take that how you see that. There's usually the Feds use that as a good indication of what inflation truly is. I know technically a lot of people care about CPI data, which is a little bit more of a broader basket, but when it comes down to the Feds, they actually look at the PCE. So definitely there is some things that we need to keep in mind, but they are a lot lower. So that is a positive sign. But like I said, when it comes down to Lucid doing things very much differently, you can see right here. So this is more so all the tech recently that's been laying people off, and it has gone up dramatically. And so even looking right here, so companies cut spending, jobs as outlook rose less certain. And I've been covering a lot of different stocks in various different sectors, and there's been one common thing. For the most part, they're slowing massive expansion, except Lucid. Lucid has not deterred any of their massive expansion plans, still conquering Europe as best as they can, still pushing through with Saudi Arabia. So this is why I say that Lucid is doing things very much different. Again, even outside of the realm of EVs, they're doing a lot of good things. Because even looking right here, technically, like I said, a lot of people are cutting jobs, but looking on the Lucid website, they are hiring hundreds of employees, and not just basic entry-level positions, very high positions. So I see this as a very strong positive, and I really like Lucid. It shows that despite the economic fear that's out there right now, Lucid is for the most part doing its own thing. As we already typically know it does. Of course, that will affect potential demand and kind of reservations in the future if we do go into a massive recession. But based on the actual expansion plans and layoffs, Lucid has done a fairly good job. So take that how you see that. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Just want to bring this up as well because this was news that came out yesterday. Similarly, like I mentioned, so Lucid Motors to lease more than 1,300 acres in Casa Grande, which even going back to that article that I mentioned, a lot of companies are cutting their expansion plans. So Lucid is still on track and still doing a lot of big things, even unexpected things, because we already knew that they were going to Europe, to Saudi Arabia, but we did not expect them to kind of expand in Arizona as much as they did. So that's a very positive thing. I always see a lot of good things happening with Lucid. Unfortunately, based on the price, it's gone down considerably. So this is one of the difficult scenarios that you constantly say, you know what, Lucid's doing its thing, it's doing a lot of positives, but yet the price just continuously goes down. But again, take it how you see that, because I see this as a good thing, seeing a lot of big institutions buying behind the scenes. So despite the massive fear, despite the massive amount of people talking about recessions, institutions are buying the dip. So that can be seen as a little bit more of a reassuring thing, especially for a lot of investors that is worried that this is going down to 5 or 10 or whatever it is. Especially on very much red days, you see a lot of bears come out starting with these very, very low price targets around $5. A little bit far-fetched if you ask me. But getting to it though, I just want to show you some technical analysis. So right now I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So starting with momentum, you can tell number of buyers is going up. So clearly retail presence is increasing. Similarly, like I already pointed out, institutions are really getting in as well. Stochastic, there is that deviation still, so red line above the black showing overall kind of a little bit more of a bear sentiment, if you want to call it that. RSI is at 46, and on the actual chart, successfully staying in the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, but we are kind of in between our pivot points right now. So still in between the S1 and the pivot. So this is some things that you need to watch for. 1805 is that point that you really want to watch for. So we're definitely by no means down and out, 100%. So this is getting back to the point where a lot of people are now starting to talk about buy the dip, because especially for us going from 60 down to, let's say, 13, you can only buy the dip so many times before you run out of capital. But now it does seem to be a lot of that topic of being resurged about buying the dip. And even if you look at this intraday chart right here, you can see great opportunities to average down if applicable. It's one of those things that it is kind of holding out to be very much true, that if you buy the dip, has a great opportunity to average down. But keep in mind though, like I already mentioned, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence, and when your investment comes down to Lucid, it should be at least 5 to 10 years out. That is your time horizon. Again, that's my own 2 cents. If you are just looking for a quick flip, definitely with the volatility on Lucid, you can definitely do that. So with all that though, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.